Glad to have you with us for another Monday on the PHNX Mercury podcast. I'm Adam.
I'm Hayden.
And let's get going. So, how's your week been, Hayden?
I think I got a case of the Mondays today. But hey, you know what? What way to end the day than to be here in the studio, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been nervously anticipating this season getting off to a good start, and I'm excited for tonight's preseason game.
Yeah,
for sure. So let's see. We went through last week. We had the Mercury's first week of training camp, and media day was on Wednesday. And I know you were there.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you got to say?
I mean, it was fun. It was. I don't know. I've been very fortunate. This is my second media day, so it was kind of like the same thing I expected to see. Just a lot of expectations for the season, what people are most looking forward to, things of that nature. I'm trying to think if there's anything really that stood out. Mostly just that BG was excited to come back and play.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I mean, today's first game of the preseason is literally in about an hour and a half. It's at 7. So that should be fun, but no TV broadcast. What the heck's with that?
I know. It's like it's not a professional league or something. It doesn't make any sense.
Clearly. I'm like, maybe I'll have someone over there record it on their phone and send it to me. I don't know.
Something. I mean, we need our fix, right? We need our fix of this team. I know that something memorable for me of media day was Sophie Cunningham coming out with a disposable camera and taking pictures.
Yes,
of
dude.
all the crew.
Okay. She made everybody. She literally said to all the media members, like, "Hey, smile, guys," and I'm like, I'm kind of rocking with it, man. I mean, but that's who Sophie is. Very jovial. Definitely has a big personality, but a good one though.
For sure. Like, cheese it up, right?
Oh yeah.
If she's taking pictures, you gotta look good.
Exactly. I still want to know where she got that camera, because she didn't say. But I'm like, come on. I'm like, I need to know.
I mean, they're still around.
Yeah.
They may not be like the method of choice these days, but they're definitely still around. I got to ask BG a question at media day. And it was in relation to what she thinks about her role being in the offense now that she's back, considering the or not the 0.5, but the 5 out that was played a lot last season. I think we have the clip.
I mean, whatever way, I'm all about the team. Whatever style it is, I'll find, my way to make my impact and make sure that, we're doing what we need to do and winning these games.
I think that she is excited about the opportunity to be shooting farther away from the basket. Not that she isn't good in close, but that distance shooting is definitely going to be helpful this season.
Oh yeah, I mean, even when she played in 2021, I think she took the most amount of threes of her entire career. I mean, granted, I think it was maybe 3 or 4, but still, like that's a good amount from someone who primarily dominated in the post. A sort of comparison I see with maybe how her game might evolve. I mean, obviously, she's still going to be dominant down low. She still has incredible skills, great footwork. I see sort of like a Brooke Lopez-esque transformation.
Oh, I like that.
Going from strictly being in the post, playing on the low block, and doing a lot of work down there to really stretching the floor and really being a legitimate threat. I mean, it'll be fun. I think there's going to be some growing pains, though, obviously, because it's her first time playing in just about 2 years. But still, nonetheless, I think it'll be fun. It'll be probably a bumpy, I would say, first 5-6 games just to get her acclimated, probably to get her stamina, agility, all up.
Sure.
Yeah, all up to where it needs to be. But hey, skill, man, and you can't deny it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, being in basketball shape's a lot different than just being in shape.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure she's thankful for these preseason games and for training camp. There's been a lot of reports from the players in this training camp that it's been up and down the court and just fast, lots of pace. Definitely want to hear what DT said when you asked that question.
Oh yeah, I think we're getting ready to pull it up right now.
You have to have the right people on your team, people that get along, people that are willing to go towards one goal. You have to have a lot of luck. You have to stay healthy. So all those components, can help you get to a championship. But at the end of the day, it's all about the work. It's the work that you do daily, showing up for your teammates, showing up for your organization. And that's the one thing that you can control. All the other things are things that sometimes are out of your hands. So I think our biggest goal this year is to make sure we show up every single day and working towards winning a championship.
Yeah, and when it comes to winning a championship, it's definitely there are a lot of out of your control things, like DT just said, and it's a matter of the things that are in your control, making sure that those are really nailed down, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I want to give a little bit of backstory to that question because it was kind of funny how it was. It's kind of funny how it was introduced. One of our producers, Aiden, was there too. So we spoke to Nygaard before, and I always address her as coach. And DT came in, and I'm like, coach, and I was like, oh no. I was like, she gonna kill me. I'm like, that's not good. But luckily, she's like, I might be there soon. And it was kind of weird. Everybody ran with the bit, but I won't lie. I was really kind of surprised how detailed she went with that. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised she didn't harken back to the fossil comment that BG made last week.
That's what I was thinking about.
I was definitely hearing that story. I was expecting something a little smart ass to come out of Diana's mouth, but yeah, she went into more detail than I thought she would, for sure. Coaching, I think, might be in her future.
Don't talk to her about that.
Yeah, I think it might be, though, for real. She's definitely she's a competitor, and you don't just lose that after you stop playing. So let's see. I mean, it's just week 1 of training camp is finally done. And like I said, I'm anxiously waiting. Tonight's game against the Seattle Storm, unfortunately, isn't going to be on any kind of broadcast. So we're going to have to follow along with the box score. But I'm looking forward to the rookies for sure, seeing what they can produce against this team. Because I know that they lost Sue Bird, obviously. They lost Brianna Stewart to New York.
And I still believe, I think Tina's gone too, because I think she signed a 1-year deal with Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. So I think she's still an unrestricted free agent.
You're right.
If I'm not mistaken.
Wow, that went right over my head. Yeah, you're right. That so they've got some big names, some star power that have left the team. But looking at the size of their players, if you look at their roster, they haven't lost a lot of length.
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what Harden and Sissoko can pull out, especially with Sissoko's size that she carries.
Oh yeah, I mean 6'5", played in France for a good while, and even Nygaard was speaking about that just throughout the week, that her footwork. And even some of the veterans like DT, Sophie, they were sort of talking about this natural level of poise that she has for a rookie. That's great. But with someone like a Destiny, though, I think she's like what I like to call like a high octane energy player. Like I feel like she can get a couple of really tough baskets when the team needs it, and she can basically just flip the switch of where the team might be going. For example, if let's say they're down, the other team, let's say Seattle, goes on a 9-0 run, and it's sort of like a stalemate. And they're playing tough, they're playing physical, they're playing down in the paint. But someone like Destiny can come in and get a couple tough shots. I mean, we even saw that buzzer beater that sent Miami to the Elite Eight. And, I mean, she got that dog in her. But like you said, it'll be exciting. It's just, this is the one part of training camp I don't like, because it's like you see all these players and they're so good. And we even hear players and coaches talk about this all the time, with how there's not enough roster spots. There's not enough teams to house all these players.
Mm-hmm.
Because, players, for example, like, a Shug Sutton, maybe even Destiny Harden or Katie, can, they might get cut because they can only have 12 players.
Right.
But if there were like 16 teams, they would definitely be on a team. Like it really sucks because there's a lot of, you have to pick and choose who you want to have. Honestly, what's best going to fit the system as opposed to sort of like who's the best overall player.
Yeah, and with only, 2 weeks of training camp?
Yeah.
It's difficult to figure that out so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it comes to rookies, because you don't know how they're going to react against the size of the pros, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a small sample size too. Like you said, I mean, training camp is only about 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So for some players, and I look at Sophie Cunningham last year. I mean, she was having, like, I'll be honest, kind of a mediocre season until Tina Charles left. And then when Tina Charles left, I think there were all but 2 games that she didn't score double figures.
Right.
And hit two threes or more, and I have to thank the statisticians with the Mercury to find this. She had 16 or 17, I think it was 17 straight games where she hit 2 threes or more.
Wow.
Yeah. like come on. And all it took was an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that these rookies, I hope they get the opportunity, especially Essence too. I mean, I'm trying to, I can't remember off the top of my head where she went to school. I think it was UNLV.
UNLV. Yep.
Yeah. But she's really good. Small, quick guard, can get to the basket, use both hands really well. I don't know. I could go on and on about sort of the dichotomy of the WNBA and how there should be more teams, but I can always save that for a different time.
I mean, not only should there be more teams, but there should be more roster spots.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's not an uncommon thing for a team to lose 2 or 3 starters each season. So it's not really, I don't think that it's really fair for these teams to have to, or for the players even, to have to cut these players that are obviously on the level of being a professional athlete, and they kind of, for lack of a better term, get screwed out of being on a team.
Yeah, I do want to sort of flip this on its head though, because we talked about Phoenix and their rookies. I sort of just want to talk about Seattle just a little bit. I mean, they are playing them tonight, and a name that I'll say it right now on the record, mark my words. I truly believe that Jewel Lloyd will be in the MVP race. Do I think she'll win it? I don't know. But I think she could be up there. She'd be up there. She's tough. She's a really good player, and I don't know if she has some kind of vendetta against Phoenix. I swear to you, because almost every single time I've seen her play against Phoenix, it's 25 to 30 points. Highly efficient, great 3-point shooter. And it was funny because last season, when the Skylar Diggins-Smith rumors were heating up, will she re-sign? Will she stay with the team? I was thinking, if anything, Sue Bird says she's going to retire. Brianna Stewart's a free agent, so she's probably not going to re-sign with Seattle. Why not trade for her?
I mean, that works in my book, honestly. But what are you giving up to get her?
I don't know. That's the hard part, and we don't really have that many draft picks as of now because of the whole Diamond to Shields trade, which unfortunately didn't work.
That worked out, right?
I mean, last season was such a whirlwind. I think if we could give hypotheticals all day, but if BG was there along with Diamond, I think it'd be a totally different story. But but yeah, it was a tough season last year, but hey. It's 2023.
Yeah, let's stop talking about the past.
Yeah.
I know that one of the media availabilities during training camp was actually with Brianna Taylor. Taylor? Oh man!
Wow. Brianna Turner.
Yeah, Brianna Turner.
He is having a case of the Mondays.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry about that, everybody. But she was asked specifically about Kati Sissoko, and what she can bring to the table, especially defensively, actually. And I think that she had an interesting comment. We don't have a clip or anything like that about this one, but there was a comment that she made with in regards to Caddy's length when it comes to defense, and because of that footwork that they've already spoken about and that I actually spoke about last week. So if you were here, you know that I had that going first. But they talked about the footwork of Caddy and how she is able to guard all levels of the court, actually, because she's got that size and she's got that arm length, like I compared to Mikal Bridges when it came to guarding opposing players. Yeah. And I think that it could be a really interesting dynamic if she's able to make the team, because you have Brittney Griner, whose wingspan is unbelievable. You have Breezy, who also has an unbelievable wingspan, and then Caddy can also be on the court at the same time, and it's like you've got a wall there in front of the rim. What do you think about that?
I'm right there with you. I'm trying to pull it up, but again, Basketball Reference is taking a. There we go. Finally. I feel like The Rock right now. Jeez. Basketball Reference is finally here, ladies and gentlemen. There's something interesting I really want to point out. It's with the height of this entire team, because there's a way that Coach Nygaard has this team constructed. A lot of players that are sort of that wing/guard height that can switch across a variety of multiple positions. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 12 players on the team right now. Granted, it's still training camp. Players have yet to be cut. 12 players. 12 of the 18 are 6 feet tall or taller. I think that says a lot. You have, DT 6 feet, Jenny Sims 6 feet, Michaela Onyenwere and Sophie, and Destiny, both 6 feet. I could go on, but basically there's a lot of switchability, and it's a really good thing when your team is communicating at all levels. We saw what Breezy did last season, leading the team, with rebounds, with blocks, and really taking on that center role. But I would say expect an even bigger defensive presence from her because of how she had to play that small ball center, and what she learned, and how she might have to guard the Asia Wilsons. She might have to guard the Brianna Stewarts, especially, considering the Liberty have Stewie and JJ. Yeah. It's sort of like who you're going to guard. And I don't know, man. I think Katie will fit right in. I really do. I think her wingspan, like you said, she's 6'2". Wingspan is insane, but just the touch, the finesse. She has a lot of the intangibles that you can work with. She has a lot of the intangibles that are great, that are virtually non-existent at her position, but it's just more about refining. Okay, how do you stay in front of somebody? How do you make sure you're down on the ground enough so that way you don't get hit with a blocking foul?
Right.
How do you keep your arms straight up when someone's taking a shot so that way they don't lean in and get an and one or go to the free throw line?
So here's the crazy thing, though, right? Considering that she's 6'2", she needs to, after watching film, she needs to learn how to kind of sink the anchor a little bit. She gets pushed around on the block, right?
Sink the anchor. I like that.
It's a football thing, right? You drop your ass, so that you can't be moved.
I'm gonna write that down.
But she needs to learn how to do that because she does get pushed around in the post a little bit. But things like that come with time. They come with putting on weight and muscle, and then they come with experience, of course. But to put the size of her wingspan, like kind of in better context for everybody that's watching and listening right now, she's 6'2" tall. Her wingspan is 7'3".
Stop.
It's 7'3". She is huge.
Oh, Lord.
Like, I don't know what it is about these French players and their wingspans. But it's like...
7'3".
Unbelievable.
Oh, boy.
Right? So maybe you can see why I'm a little excited about her. We talk a lot about offense, and we have spoken a lot about offense today and this last week. And, that's what we've been talking about with the team during training camp and during Chris in the chat says,
"Oh, Chris is here, the GOAT."
I'm happy to see you,
MVP. Shout out, Chris. I need to beat you in person sometime.
But we talk a lot about offense, right? And something that I kind of feel is falling by the wayside when it comes to this team is the defense. Yeah. There is a lot of size, like you said. There are 12 players on the team that are over 6 foot, and it's just that's not something that many teams in the W are equipped to deal with. That size, especially if they can have the right defensive mindset and they can communicate properly on defense with each other and switch when they need to switch, and they can. I mean, it can be a force, right? Oh, yeah. You can be holding teams to 75 points and you'll be pretty good, right?
Yeah. I mean, you have, like I mentioned earlier, I mean, Breezy, everybody has raved about her communication defensively. Obviously, BG, a total force, a total, a dominator down low. I mean, what did you say last week? Was it last week or a little time before you talked about Brittney Griner putting people in the grinder? I think that's going to be, I think that's got to be something that we use as the season goes on. But I'm really expecting that, man. A lot of communication, a lot of switchability. I mean, Mariah Jefferson, I mean, she's 5'6", right? But even I've heard BG have conversations with her that said, if your defender gets past you, just leave it to me. Leave it to me, and I will take care of it. And when you have that back line, it encourages people to play better defense because they know, okay, if they get past me, who's going to be waiting for them?
Right.
BG exactly. And Breezy. So it's kind of like pick your poison if you're the opposition.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the capabilities of each of them, you can always have one playing center field.
Exactly.
That's the great thing. You never have to really worry about having rim protection with the size and the length, and especially the basketball IQ. Because that Breezy and BG are always aware of what's going on the court, and that's just that's something you can't teach.
Yeah,
exactly. Like Chris in the chat says, she has mobility for days.
She does. I mean, gosh, you could switch through everything. Like she could literally switch like these lights up here. Like come on, come on. But I don't know if I don't think we've played this clip yet, but just with this preseason game, literally like almost an hour away, I would love to sort of play what Coach Nygaard thinks about what she is actually looking to expect from her team.
No, I think it's like we're doing some different stuff, and our players are really locked in. I'm just really hopeful that we can get some good reps tomorrow, and then have that good run through on Friday here. Hopefully, get a lot of fans out for that as well. I know it's a practice game, but it'd be great to get down here. So, yeah, I'm excited. I don't know, ready to go.
She talked about being locked in and ready to go. And it was even said this morning, Breezy spoke about, I'm tired of playing against the same people every day. What do you make of Nygaard's comments about the team being locked in, even though it's only preseason?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like she said exactly what you want to hear, right? And it's difficult to be locked in completely during training camp, honestly, just because, like Breezy said, playing against the same people all the time, you get used to their motions, you get used to what their tendencies are, and it becomes more of like a going through the motions kind of grind, right? But it's absolutely what you want to hear from the head coach, and I feel like it's kind of a determinant factor of how they play against Seattle, because it's not really, they can say that they're locked in and ready to go all they want, but if they come out and they lose by 25 today, then it's probably not the case.
I think it'll be really interesting. Seattle, I mean, they still, like I said, they have Jewel Lloyd, they have Ezi Magbagor, who will be one of the best defensive centers in the league, I would say, for probably the next 5 seasons. Mm-hmm. She took a huge step up this past season, was really, like, along with Stewie, the anchor of their defense. Like, nobody would really go in and challenge her at the basket. And I think if Phoenix were to play any team for BG to get situated, I think it has to be Seattle, because you have a good force down low. I'm not saying she's great. I'm not saying, she's like Asia Wilson level yet, but you still have somebody that knows who they are, knows, where to be, basically how to play defense. Have a center that knows how to play really good defense, block shots. And so if anything, I think these 2 games will be a really good adjustment period for not only BG, but I would say just the team in general.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned that there are 2 preseason games this week, right? Mm-hmm. Next one happens to be against Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
Against the Sparks.
Too bad Liz Cambage isn't there anymore.
Yeah, that would have been a great one.
I'm all for the drama. It was okay. Okay, real quick. I don't want to go on a tangent, but I think this is really funny. I was at that game. It was the game that they played against Phoenix, and Phoenix ended up winning. And the following day, Liz Cambage got released, and then Derek Fisher got fired. So it's a double whammy. But hey, they have Kurt Miller. I'm sort of excited to see what that's going to end up looking like. I mean, they still have the Ogwumike sisters.
Yeah.
Who are fantastic.
Of course, I was going to bring them up, right?
Oh, yeah. What about, Zaya Cook?
Zaya Cook.
Their new draft pick, dude. I can't wait to see her play. I mean, she was a dog at SC.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of, while I look something up here, I want you to extrapolate a little bit on what you think that Zaya is going to bring to their team.
Oh, okay. Good question. I mean, a lot of shot-making ability. Her thing, though, and her knock on her was that not a very good three-point shooter. I think this season she was pretty average, I would say. Shot about 34, 35% from 3, but she shows up in the big moments. She does. She showed up in the big game against why can't I remember who they? Oh yeah, they played LSU in the Final Four. Mm-hmm. And she showed up. She hit a lot of tough shots, a lot of mid-range jumpers with a hand in the face, turnarounds, step backs, catch and shoot with the defender closing out really hard. And so it's a lot of that she's going to bring as well. She gets to play with Jordan Canada, someone who Nygaard actually coached in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't remember what high school it is, but Nygaard coached her down in Los Angeles when Jordan was in high school. But should be a lot of fun. Kurt Miller's still a good coach, so don't be surprised if anything here. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you loving my tangents. If you stick around for the whole season, I'm just gonna say you'll hear plenty more of them.
We'll probably have a few hours of tangents just to, at the end of it, we can put together a compilation of nothing about actual
we
Mercury
so could.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. It's definitely in the present. The game against Seattle, I'm excited to see what kind of numbers the team can put up. Mm-hmm. Specifically, I actually kind of want to see specifically from Megan Gustafson.
Ooh.
Considering how she was kind of thrust into a role last season of being a leader, being in that leadership position, being a leader on the court and off. I'm interested to see how she's improved herself in the off season and see what she can do.
I like it. Maybe what's it called? Maybe coach will actually let Pancake make a start in the lineup at some point.
I think maybe Pancake's going to have to be practice squad for a minute.
Seriously?
You have to pay your dues.
Man.
You can't just be a dog. And
Stop. No, she's a literal dog, though. She got that dog in her. She got that dog in her.
I'm saying you can't just be a dog, like we don't know about Destiny Harden. She's a dog as well in a different sense, but she might not make the team just because of it, right?
Yeah, I understand. But you are 100% right. Meg, I think, will be great. She, to me, has shown a lot of improvement this season just through the practices I've seen through training camp. A lot of consistently knocking down threes. That was a big thing she really did last season. Really sort of remodeled her game. I mean, if you watched her at Iowa, big, low post threat, 24 and 12, Naismith Player of the Year.
Yeah.
I mean, and here she is, draining threes.
Yeah, it shows the difference between college and the pros, I think, pretty well because, in college, Meg is a monster. She's like a huge person. And then in the pros, you're not quite as big as some of the biggest centers in the league and other forwards. So she's done a great job so far of changing her game. And she's had media availability this week as well. After shoot around today, she actually mentioned changing her game. She actually mentioned that that's exactly what she did. She had to completely remodel what she grew up knowing how to do, and that's it's something that kind of excites me because she is able to, with firsthand knowledge, show these younger players, these rookies, and even Sam Thomas.
Oh yeah.
Like what needs to be done in order to always improve yourself in the off season and make yourself more desirable, like as a player who needs minutes.
Yeah.
So
you talk about that off season. I mean, and she played for Greece. She won a championship with Greece and was the MVP of that series as well. I mean, and like you said, just a total transformation of her game. I'm excited. I really hope that she gets a lot more minutes. I think she will. I don't think you're going to have as many players in and out of the team. I mean, Jim Pittman, the Mercury GM, at the end of last season said that they signed 31 replacement contracts.
That is
31.
Unbelievable.
Like in a 3 or 4 month season.
That's almost the same level as like an NFL team. Like, and they have 53 people on the roster, not 12. So, I mean, that's just like what team could overcome that?
Yeah.
15 wins is kind of amazing. It's kind of remarkable when you think about it that way because they turned over their team 3 times.
Yeah. Just
last season. So, Chris says in the chat, I'm stoked to see Sam's progression. And honestly, I mean, aren't we all, right? It's when it comes to Sam Thomas, it's just, if you want to talk about size when it comes to a guard, that's the way right there. Like she's a prototype. Her time at U of A, it was something to behold. She didn't have as great of a role last season as I would have expected her to, considering all of the injuries and whatnot. But I do feel like if she was able to do work on her game, that she's going to have a much bigger role this season. Yeah. What are you looking up there?
Looking at stats. She's U of A's all-time 3-point leader. I mean, she has 219, which is absurd. I mean, and you could see throughout the course of her 5 seasons there, 37%, 33%, 38%, 39%, nearly 42%. Like, we know what we're getting. I think you said it best. Adam. It's just giving her minutes. That's what you need. That's how you're going to develop. And I mean, I've seen her check into a few games, and the crowd goes crazy. Her teammates go crazy.
And she's a hometown kid, right?
Yeah. So her, Megan, and Jenny, they're like besties.
Yeah.
It's really funny because like
they give them a nickname.
Oh yes, like they get so hyped for each other. And I mean, they were literally like they went through training camp together, the whole 9 yards, everything that happened within the team. And, Sam talked about leaning on Megan a lot and Jenny for advice, just sort of how to make it through the league, carve out that niche, know your role. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I hope there's enough love to go around for everybody on the team.
For sure. Well, I mean, when it comes to Sam, like staying on the topic of Sam Thomas, it's just she has all of the potential there to be a 3-and-D, like a major 3-and-D role player, and it's that's something I'm looking for this year specifically, because I think that she's going to be a huge factor if she is able to put her game together the way that I feel like she can.
You know what kind of vibes she gives me? I don't want to say this is random, but it kind of is. She gives me total Betnijah Laney vibes.
Betnijah Laney
from the Liberty.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, former Rutgers player. Shout out my buddy Shane, big New Jersey guy. Big Rutgers guy. Very similar builds, both about 6 feet. Both can play that guard/forward position. And Laney is a really good, like, she's a 3-point marksman. And I think she didn't play in many games last season because she was recovering from an injury that took about 20 to 25 games for her to really come back from. But there's a lot of scoring ability that she has. I think Sam Thomas can add to her game. Once she develops a really strong ball handle, a secure ball handle, even if it's a simple catch, pump fake, one dribble pull up, something as simple like that, because she's shown she can knock those threes down.
Yeah, and she also has shown in college that she's more than just a catch and shoot.
Yeah,
she definitely has a pull up shot she could make. I feel like if she has the progression that we kind of are looking for, then she could be something like a 30, 33, 34% 3-point shooter this season. That's not unheard of, not even anywhere close. So she can contribute to winning games.
Yeah, you've got a team in the Mercury. They love their 3-pointers. Like I told you last week, I think they were first in 3-pointers attempted post All-Star break. They were third in 3-point makes after the All-Star break. You have Mariah Jefferson, who's a very good 3-point shooter. Obviously, Brianna Turner, who don't need to say much about that.
Right.
Sophie, don't need to say much about that. You have a team full of people that can shoot the 3, and I think just basically like Chris said, just give her an opportunity.
Yeah.
When did you give her an opportunity? And I can finally post the memes of let Sam Thomas cook.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe we can add that to the social channel.
I mean, we're gonna add a lot of things to the social channel. Let's see. When it comes to the 3-pointers, I know that we led the league in attempts last season. But I also know that Coach Nygaard has spoken a lot with the Phoenix Suns head coach, Monty Williams. They run the 0.5 offense. The Mercury do not run the 0.5. There's a lot of usage between Diana and Sky. I'm kind of curious what you think, having the face-to-face interactions with Coach Nygaard. I'm kind of curious if you think that there's going to be any kind of movement kind of away from iso ball, like they kind of like to play a lot.
That's a good question. BG coming back makes all the difference. I keep sounding like a broken record, but that's the reality. And because you have that, you had to worry about, and this is no disrespect to anybody on the Phoenix Mercury. This was just how teams were playing it from my perspective. You had to worry about Diana Taurasi, Skylar Diggins-Smith, and Sophie Cunningham on the offensive side of the ball as people that can handle the ball and score efficiently.
Yeah. Creators.
Yes, true creators, especially D and Sky. Now you have players that can create. And not only that, but you have a big in BG that can create down low. That's the thing. Once you give her the ball, she can go to work and it opens up everything. A thing with the Suns, for example, they have DeAndre Ayton, and I know we can, I know people have gone on and said, DA is this, DA is that, blah, 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 blah.
I'm just trying to keep a straight face. I don't want to give away what I think.
maybe you can join the PHNX Sun show. Drop your 2 cents in there. No, but seriously, like he can shoot the 3 kind of, but he still poses that threat. BG poses that threat from outside the paint.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, you can be more creative.
Yeah.
You can play 5 out. You can play 4 out, 1 in. I would not be surprised if I see a lot of that. And plus, Breezy, dude, she's been shooting 3s in practice. I never saw that last season at all.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing with the 2 preseason games. If she's chucking them up, and especially if she's making them, that's going to be a big deal.
Like, dude, if she makes a couple 3s, I can't wait to just create memes that just says you just lost to Brianna Turner and her 2 made 3-pointers. Like, yes, dude, I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. But seriously, I know Chris keeps dropping comments into the chat, and I love them. If we could pull that up, because she talked about how coaching has to be more fluid, which is funny enough what I was going to transition to.
Mm-hmm.
It does. It has to be. Granted, you have a lot more going on this season. You have your starting 5. That's it. Or I shouldn't say that's it, but like you know your starting 5.
Mm.
We didn't know what the starting 5 was going to be. Stuff with Sky that happened throughout the season. I mean, heck, Jenny Sims started the last 4 games of the season and played fantastic. But this year, you know who is going to be in that front line.
Mm.
Whereas last season, it really wasn't like that.
Yeah, that was a major problem last season. Like, it's hard to coach fluidly when you're kind of just inserting player here, taking out player there. You have to try to make them fit the system a little bit when things are going so poorly injury wise and everything else that happened around the team. So it's just I feel like there's definitely a way forward. You bring up DA from the Suns earlier, and I feel like DA is going one way, like his trajectory is going down when it comes to shooting from farther away, but BG's is going up. Like she's kind of she's really like expanding her game, and his game's kind of going, it's kind of retracting on itself. I'm sure that has a lot to do with Coach Monty Williams and everything, not wanting 3s taken by the center, but I digress. The pick and roll and the pick and pop with BG's going to be a big deal.
Just stop it.
It's just
stop it. Like, bro, we gotta we gotta bust out the hot sauce because it's gonna be too spicy.
I'm not even gonna like extrapolate on it too much right now. We can talk about that next week. But it's just, when it comes to the pick and pop, like you can run elbow sets, and you've got a shooter everywhere. And it's just, I don't know. We're not going to get into it.
But hey, you know what? Speaking of the Suns, I do have to do a shameless plug here. The PHNX website is doing a buy one get one sale on Sun shirts today.
Sure.
Yes, who wouldn't want to buy a shirt in anticipation for Game 5? It's been a fun series. We have a great team covering it. Shout out to homie Gerald Bourget down in Denver. That's going to be covering Game 5.
Yeah.
That's my Breaking Bad buddy too. So I can't wait to talk more once he gets back. But just had to drop that shameless plug in there.
For sure.
Is Gerald down in Denver?
Yeah. Did I say up in Denver?
No,
What'd I say?
Is Denver below us?
Denver's up.
Yeah.
Denver's more north.
So why is Gerald down in Denver?
I don't know. Because he flew through the air. He landed in Denver. I don't know, man. It's a Monday.
Chris in the chat says the shirts are fire. Like that Slim Valley Reaper shirt. I haven't bought mine yet, but I need it. I need it in my life. As Johnny Venerable from the Cardinals podcast says, injected into my veins. That's definitely what the kind of thing I want to be rocking. That's called drip. So anyway,
Talk to him. Talk your stuff, Adam. Come on now.
I think that's where we'll leave it for the week. We definitely we're excited about the preseason games. I'm excited about the preseason games being over, honestly, because that means the real thing's going to happen. So.
Yeah, except the real thing starts in LA though, which totally blows.
I mean, it sucks, but it's also at least on TV, unlike this game.
Facts. Such facts, bro.
But yeah, so hopefully you join us next week. We want to thank you for having us. You can follow the pod on Twitter at PHNX_Mercury. I'm on Twitter at TheMythicalAC.
And I'm on Twitter at Hayden Silly.
And X Factor, we love you. See you next week.